Lovely. So I'll just do a short introduction about where and why we're here. We started with having meetups on a monthly basis at the year 2020. And we are usually doing and closing the year with the yearly recap with our CTO, with Matthias Haas. In that case, we had the last meetup last week. But we have an exceptional day today because we are getting 5. So time for us to celebrate that the IGEL community, which was founded in December 2017, on the 20th of December, is now getting 5. So on the same date, 5 years ago, the family we founded were extremely new to us, and now we are here with you to celebrate that date. So we have not a tough agenda, obviously. Just sharing a little bit of history, then we will have a couple of testimonials. I would like to get Jet's vision on the IGEL community, on how it evolves and where the idea came from, etc. And then we will go through a little bit of a quiz, so some questions I prepared, some fun facts, and also the vision about the year 2023 and what we achieved in the last years. So I will just start with a little bit of history. The very beginning of the IGEL community started on the date I just mentioned before, with an announcement made by Douglas Brown, which are not part of IGEL anymore, but most of you should know him. He is now part of ControlUp, and he founded the IGEL community on Slack on exactly that date with 1 o'clock in the afternoon with the first post. By the way, that's a good point to remember for the quiz. And then the first post came in, and I would say nothing's changed. We have the same kind of community chit-chat now. We have the same kind of community chit-chat 5 years later. If you look about my last post on the community one, it was this morning, also was or yesterday, was a little meme. So nothing changed. And by the way, the favorite Christmas movie might not be Die Hard. I have some others also to mention. But let's do a poll at the end of the presentation. And just before you are asking, we were 218 members from the 20th of December until the beginning of January. So I am delighted to have also Fredrik on the call. I will come back to you, Fredrik, in a couple of seconds, but you are part of the early adopters, people who were there from the beginning on, from the IGEL employees. But that's also a thing to remember for the quiz a little bit later on. Then this was 2018. The official joining campaign was launched, and the official announcement were shoot out to our Disrupt attendees. To that moment, I must admit, I wasn't even part of the IGEL community. I wasn't part of the early adopters. There were different reasons, but I must say that as start of the Disrupt, I started to sign in. And that was my starting point at January 2018, where I joined. So I would say roughly 1.5 months later than the start. And to that time, we were 367 members. Coming to 2019, Disrupt again. I'm always trying to keep the same date, so you can see the growth of the community. We had the first IGEL, it was not called insider to that moment, but I would say extremely interesting and important person speaking about the IGEL product, but also about the IGEL community. In that case, it was Daniel Ugarte from Laboratory Ucha, who spoke about our ecosystem. Then we had internal meetings, and it was really the first IGEL community kickoff where we were also part of the organization. There, we had 1,469 members. Last Disrupt 2020, for those of you who were there and who can remember that event, you couldn't be there, because if you could remember Disrupt 2020, you cannot have attended. That was one of the most exciting events I ever attended in the end-user computing space. And besides the rock band and the masterclass delivered by Christian Brinkhoff on AVD, to that time WVD, we were already at 3,079 members. And then, as most of you might know, or might have noticed, in the year 2020, something hit it in. And we had a huge growth of people who needed help on getting ICG set up, who got the UT Pocket sent out to teleworkers who had to stay at home, etc. So we had a huge growth. But let's look at the numbers in a second. That's what the Disrupt 2021 looked like. And that's a real picture of myself having my cat on my knees, looking at Jet and Dakili speaking about what the year 2021 will bring. And the first Zoom sessions with our colleagues in parallel to speak about the content and the Disrupt organization. And that was the first time we met on Zoom. We had our regular calls on Zoom and everyone turned their webcam on. To that time, we had a huge growth. We went to 5,600 members. 2022, last Disrupt, in that case, again in person, thanks to not COVID having disappeared, but at least decreased. We were able to travel again and share the IGEL love, share the IGEL story to the market. And there we had already 7,800 members. And now you might ask, where are we today? Well, I'm sharing an internal report that I'm refreshing every week, where we are putting most of the metrics from the IGEL community into 3 pages of a PDF, and we are now 9,308 members. Obviously, the goal is to reach the 10K as soon as possible, but we are still seeking for the next goals, but stay tuned. I will share a little bit on that in a couple of seconds. A second extremely important information besides the graph where you see that at the January of 2020, we had a huge growth. We have also the CSAT and NPS score at the top of the window. What does that mean? The customer satisfaction and net promoter score. We had usually between 92 and 93 for more or less 2 years, same on NPS. And since 2 weeks, thanks to you guys, thanks to your help, thanks to your love, we passed from 93 to 94 on CSAT and from 80 to 81 on NPS, which is amazing. It's unbelievable. And I must say, I wouldn't have expected to reach it until a couple of years. Now, obviously, the goal is to reach 95 and 90 and 82 for the first step, and let's see what we will reach in the next years. So now I'm shutting on myself, basically, and I will pass over to the insider's vision. Let me just double check. I'm just stop sharing for a couple of seconds because I'm not sure if I took the audio in. Yeah, it is. Perfect. So you should see the screen again. And I will now pass to the insiders who were so kind to record a few thoughts of them into our today's meetup. Here we go.
Hey IGEL community, Carl Berendt from New Zealand. Amazing to think this thing started out by the legendary Doug Brown and how far it's come after the 5 years. This community is a great place, full of knowledgeable people, and always a great place to have a laugh and share some stories also. Looking forward to seeing what the future holds as it continues to grow. Happy birthday IGEL community, all the best, cheers.
Hi everyone, this is Henk Jan from the Netherlands. I found out today that I had already joined the community 1 day after it was founded, because I was looking for a place where I could share my questions and challenges with other IGEL users, and I'm still very satisfied with what the community does. So congratulations to the IGEL community, and a Merry Christmas to all my fellow members, and also a Happy New Year, of course. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, happy birthday IGEL community. 5 years, let's keep going.
Here we go. Thanks guys for your warm words. We'll come back to you in a second. So now, Jet, if you wouldn't mind, I will stop sharing and hand it over to you and getting your vision and your view on the IGEL community.
Yeah, well, for sure. Thank you, Seb, and thank you to everybody that's on this call and has been part of the journey with us. Thank you for those that just submitted those videos. Those were fun to watch, and we should get those up, Seb, on the on LinkedIn for everybody to see. Yeah, so obviously the vision of this community has always been for techies, by techies, with little interference from you know, the corporate hand, in the sense that we wanted it to be something that could unlock value for the technical community. And it wasn't always about IGEL, right? Because I think real communities are about lifting each other up. And it's not, you know, just IGEL, it's about Citrix, VMware, Microsoft, ControlUp, it's bigger than IGEL, right? And I think that was always part of the vision that we had with Doug, was that we would build something that people would gravitate towards, and they would get a lot of value from each other. And honestly, Seb, the response time and the commitment and the fact that we have so many people that are just sort of using it every day, that dream has been realized, right? I mean, you guys are answering questions faster than our ticketing system with our paid support, right? And so it's a great value add for IGEL and our ecosystem. And I think that's really the vision that we have going forward, is just to continue to nourish the community and listen to you, and not come in with a heavy hand from IGEL and try to over commercialize it, or send a bunch of marketing things your way, or try to brainwash you on IGEL OS 12. It's really it's about a forum that you get value out of, right? In whatever technical form that may be, or otherwise. And I think, ironically, through COVID, this place became somewhere where, we all were suffering from being locked down and by ourselves. And, I think that the community served purposes beyond just the technical framework, right? Where we were there to support each other as we work through this health crisis. So yeah, I think that's the vision, Seb. It's to continue to invest in it, and put the right resources behind it, and continue to listen to how you guys perceive the direction that we need to go with it, because it's really about the people that are the members of this community that really are making it what it is. So hopefully that helps you. It's going to be driven by you, not IGEL, I guess, is the vision.
Definitely. And I can just say, everything that we are showing today, every metric, every kudo, every thing that we are sending out today is not sent only to IGEL employees. It's to 99% sent out to you guys, not working for IGEL, working for your own business, for your own company, spending your spare time and helping other people, sharing knowledge, sharing ideas, sharing solutions that you scripted by yourself, or the documentation that you've wrote maybe for a customer, and sharing that in the IGEL community. And that's where I'm extremely thankful to be part of that family. Maybe just an additional question to you, Jet. Are you part of other communities, by the way? I never asked you.
Well, I mean, honestly, I shut down almost all of my social, communities in 2016. I got a little probably over emotional about what was going on in the political landscape around that time in the US. So I got off Facebook, and never really had an Instagram. And so what I've always done with my spare time from a community and social perspective is spend my time on LinkedIn. That's where you'll find me. My LinkedIn does feed my Twitter. I've thought about turning my Twitter off in the last few weeks. And then really just doubling down on Twitter. But Twitter for me is, it's an educational venue, right, where I can get a lot of information from people in this space and in my career. So that's where I spend my time, Seb, from a community perspective, online. And
so are you already part of Mastodon?
No, I haven't joined it. As you can imagine, I have a pretty full schedule. So
I believe so.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn for me has been very, very good. And it's ironic, when we first started with Doug, it was like we tried LinkedIn, we tried a website, we tried some other platforms, and from a technology, from a true techie perspective, LinkedIn did not work. Our own website wasn't scalable enough. It didn't have enough features, and it just felt like all of a sudden when we got on Slack, we hit a chord where it really worked. So I'm happy for that. And I think it's funny because of course Slack, I don't think they didn't originate their product as a community building platform, but they've reached out to us over the last couple of years, very interested in how we've done this, and how they might actually use it more as a community framework.
Yeah, I have fun fact. I had a call with Slack, was it on Wednesday last week? I guess yes. And they were telling exactly the same view. Slack wasn't built for that at all, and they were pretty surprised that we have 400 to 700 active connections per day. So people who are really active or actively logged in the Agile community and being able to consume content, because that's usually not what you can expect from a Slack standard user, neither if you use it as a collaboration software. So that was extremely interesting for them. So we are sharing a few thoughts with them. We are also working on some new product that we can integrate into our Agile community. I don't want to tell too much because that's a teaser for the end of the presentation. But let me ask you another question, Jet, because I guess you will not be there until the end because of your schedule. There's one question I would like to ask. If Jet would have one wish for the Agile community, what would it be?
I mean, honestly, I just hope that it continues to thrive, right? We really do believe in the ecosystem at IGEL. We believe in this idea of the servant heart, right? Where if we help each other, we help our partners, and our customers are the ultimate beneficiary of this, right? And it's just a great way to live your life, looking out for others. And so I think, that would be my hope, is that, 5 years from now, we have 30,000 people and, 3,000 or 4,000 people active every day on the site as IGEL continues to scale and become sort of a very important part of this new architecture of cloud delivered workspaces. And I think, the market, for me, when I look at our planning for 2023, the table is set for IGEL to, really have a breakout year with, great relationships with Citrix, VMware, and Microsoft, great relationships with the leading hardware manufacturers, Lenovo, HP, and LG. And, as I believe, they all kind of can drive energy into the community, right? And that 9,000 plus members can easily double as we expose more people to this technology. And I think that's the exciting part for me, as someone who's been in the end user compute space for the last 2 decades, is that, with Microsoft fully invested in this, and I had a long conversation with Scott Manchester yesterday, the energy and the investment they're putting into this solution is going to mainstream, this technology. And so, all of us diehard EUC veterans that are on this call, I think we have some interesting years ahead of us as the consumption of this technology becomes easier and more mainstream. And that's exciting for all of us, right? Where we're seeing, hopefully tens of millions of new people, exposed to this type of consuming applications and workspaces, I should say.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on this. Thank you very much, Ed. I would just switch now to the thank you part. So if you want to jump in or say something, please feel free to interrupt me at any time. That is also available for Renee or Christian Werner, who joined from the product management, but also to Frederick, because now I'm going through a couple of things that I would like to share with the audience. I will share again the left part of my screen in the hope that it will also take the audio. So Jet's vision, thank you very much for your commitment to the Agile community and for everything you did until now. I'm sure we have a lot of tasks open for the next years, but at least we have definitely a vision and an objective we want to follow. So,
I mean, more than anything, Seb, you have our support, right? I mean, I think from the leadership team, from our shareholders, we're very proud of what you guys have done here. And we'll continue to support it, full throttle. And I guess I would tell you, one of the things I'm proud of IGEL about is that we're flat and we're fast and we're pretty good listeners and humble. So if you have ideas on things we should be doing, I'm sure they're bringing them to you, Seb, on a daily basis, but I'm all ears as well.
Thank you very much for this. I truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. So I will share exactly that thankful words to all the people who are helping on a daily basis, especially the non-Agile people, because I don't want to point it to one specific person, to one specific group of people. I want to thank everyone, because like I already mentioned, no one is working for Agile. No one is committed to one product for life. And you're spending your extra time, your free time, your family time, by helping others, helping people around the world. And that was a thing that really made the Agile community unique to my view. In the year 2020 and 2021, during the pandemic hinted in, we had so much people trying to help people from the US, helping people who are in Germany or in Europe to maybe connect families to each other, or trying to help. We had the project to give the compute processing performance from our IGEL devices at home to make the project folding at home, which is basically you install a client on your PC and you give your compute power to calculate disease cures and vaccines. That's something that also happened in that time, and we had so much help from people who wanted to install the cloud gateway, and we delivered the meetups and so on. So that's also a point where I would like to point and ask for a big kudo to everyone on that list from the IGEL team, because we have obviously Jed and Afan from our leadership. We have also people who are not part of IGEL anymore, like Doug and Simon. But now we are also looking at the people who are not doing the community job like I do on a daily basis, who are also spending their spare time, like Chris, Bates, Josh, and Dan. We have on the pre-sales side and on IGEL Ready, we have Ron Air, we have Rini, we have Joey, Randall, Ryan. On KB Advanced Services, we have Sarah Wiskirchen, we have Lars, we have Rene, we have Joe Freund from our dev team, who is helping a lot on VMware and browser questions. And honestly, I would have expected him to join, but he did. And that's something that I'm really warming my heart. We have also Frederick, Bradstick, we have Christian, we have Ivan, who are also there from the beginning on partially and still there. And all the invisible heroes who are maybe using another account, an anonymous account, or just being a one-time answering one single question, then leaving again, which is still helping people. So also a big thank you to all the IGEL employees. Now I'm coming to the people who are very special, and I had different ways to show them. But I just said, okay, why not using what we have already on our website and going through a short video about the people who were there from the beginning on, because as you might know, the IGEL community is growing, people are leaving, people are registering, people are coming back or leaving forever. So we have people that we are calling the IGEL insiders, who are awarded one time a year. That's what we call our VIP program, who are helping, I would not say more, but even more than all that are doing. And they're sharing even more information. So we have people from IGEL, but also people from outside. And I'm just going through different classes and different years that you know the name, that you know the faces who helped that much. And even if they're not there anymore, maybe I'm not able to help anymore, I just want to say thank you very much, guys and women, to what you did there. And looking forward to meet you again in a different situation or different constellation. So going through the different years, we are now in 2021, if I didn't say something absolutely wrong, and then we are meeting the last class. Here we go. And that's the actual ones. Just in case, I would mention it at the end of the video, but at the end of the meetup, we will again award our IGEL insiders, VIPs, and member of the year. We'll do that approximately at the Munich Disrupt event happening in February, and then in Nashville for the EMEA part and respectively to the North American part. Here we go. So now we are coming back to the insider's voice. So we got other people recording their views in the IGEL community. So I will shut up myself and handle over to the real important persons. That sounds a little bit weird. Give me a second. Yeah, okay, apparently the coding didn't work. So I will just play it separately. So give me a second and I will fix the video. Where are we coming from? The IGEL community mission is something that we made from the beginning on, available to everyone in the IGEL community. So what can you expect from us? And I will just read it, even if I'm not a native English speaker. Create an exceptional member experience that rises above what our customers and partners expect and leave them inspired. highly educated, and with a sense of being a part of the IGEL family. And that's where we are coming from, and that's what we are trying to share on a daily basis in our community. So apparently I left, I'm back now. Give me a chance to share my screen again and come back to the goals and objectives. Can you see my screen again now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, guys. So the objectives that you are seeing there were defined by Jet a long time ago, more or less 5.5 years, I would say. And I will just put them on screen. And I hope that for all the people who are listening and watching the presentation, you will find what we are doing on a daily basis in that statements. I would say we didn't fulfill everything to 100% because I'm still thinking that we can never fulfill something perfectly. We still have room for improvements, but we are quite close to it, I would say. And all the steps that we'll describe a little bit later on the video part is we did a lot of things behind the scene that you're not seeing if you're a part of the Slack itself. But the website, the archive site, making the content of the IGEL community in Slack available for search engines, the videos we're recording, the tutorials, the blog articles is not part of Slack, it's something which is around it. And I'm pretty sure that we are expecting something extremely important for the next year, but let me share that idea a little bit later on. So I will just check if the insider talk is working there. The technical reason for those who are interested might be that I imported the videos into PowerPoint, and in that moment it would be re-encoded by PowerPoint because it was move videos which are usually recorded by iPhones. So if it's not working, give me a second, I will just play them afterwards. Yeah, same here. So give me a technical moment to reflect and I will take over that. Let's jump to the quiz time. There, I would suggest that everyone from the panelists unmute themselves. And if you like, also the participants, you can share the answers on the screen and sharing that in the chat if you like. So I will just start the quiz and just some absolutely random questions about the IGEL community and what we delivered in the last 5 years. So in your opinion, now that you know that we have an insider program, who might be the first insiders who posted something on the IGEL community? I mean, beside Douglas Brown, because that's not, I excluded the IGEL employees who are working for the IGEL community.
I'm thinking Daniel Garte. He was quite early.
David Prowse, you won. Oh. It's Carl Webster. And I put it together, the date and the message. I just, summarize it a little bit. There was a little bit more text, but that's where we came from. And Carl was the first one. So, David, congratulations, winner. Next one. Which insider posted second? Any ideas?
I'm trying to remember the images.
Yeah, not sure if you have seen it there, but you might. Doug? No, it's Stuart Donaldson, still in community chitchat. And you see at the time where the message was posted, it was more or less 30 minutes after the official announcement, so it was pretty fast. Okay, next one. Which member of the year posted first? Remember, member of the year can be an IGEL employee, can be someone from the outside world. Like I said, I'm excluding Doug from the discussion or myself. Okay, someone from the panelist attendees? Bam, it's David Prowse. So yes, Joy, you won. David, it was your first post on 2018 on the 7th of March regarding network scammers. What was the very first post? That's an easy one.
I guess hello.
In that case, it's Douglas, the announcement. That was the obviously it was on the first or second slide, so not a huge surprise. But you see, it was called How to IGEL Software Platform Project at the beginning. So I'm not sure where the IGEL community term came from and when it was introduced. I couldn't find the original post where it was announced, but I'm still looking for it. Very first IGEL post. So what was the first IGEL employee posting beside Douglas? Nah, Stu, he wasn't part of the IGEL family to that time. Just looking at the chat in parallel, so you're not wondering. It was Ivan Kolchak, working for the CX department. To that moment, he was part of the pre-sales team taking care of the Eastern Europe market. And now just a short summary about the early adopters. What would you think from all the people from IGEL and from the non-IGEL folks who have posted or have been there from the beginning on until end of the year 2017? So more or less 1 month and from the beginning on. I can give you a short teaser. I'm not part of it. Like I said, I was there in January. Here's a list. Obviously, Doug was on number 1. Then Christian, Fred jumped in from the IGEL perspective and helped a lot the first adopters. Barry was also there, which impressed me. Barry, I'm not sure if you're part of the call. I would have to double check the attendee list, but if not, you will maybe watch the recording. Thank you very much for being there. Carl, we already mentioned it. Hank, boom. You asked me when you joined, I posted it. You are one of the first members that are still there and part of the insider group who are early adopter. René Biegler, Daniel Ugarte, thank you also, guys. I know that you are still there, and I know you have a lot of projects, and you spoke a lot at the Disrupt event. You shared the IGEL story and the IGEL love for years. Thanks, guys. And even if you are at the end of the list, that doesn't mean that you are less important than the others. Thank you very much. And now, who posted the most over all time, including IGEL employees, excluding Doug and myself? Here we go. Ron on number 1 from IGEL, David Prowse, non-IGEL, David Sieber, former IGEL employee, still on number 3, Christopher Bates from our support, René Recker, hey, René, Leon Beitsch, non-IGEL employee, Lars Glöckner, IGEL employee, Barry Brown, non-IGEL employee, Milan. By the way, Milan, thank you very much for doing what you're doing. You went from 0 posts, not from a 0 person, but from a 0 post to 2,000 posts. And I really know that you are doing a lot and helping a lot in our communities. Thanks very much. And Udo Jetschmanek from IGEL employee. Now, for those of you who are knowing me and knowing my post in the IGEL community, how many thread continues here have I posted in the IGEL community? For those of you who are not knowing what I mean, when people are not answering in thread, but creating a new post instead of answering a thread, I'm always referring to the first post that people who are searching for a keyword knows where the original discussion is then happening. And I was surprised. I would have expected a way more. Only 178. I might have miswritten sometimes thread or whatever, but that was what I could be able to count. And then coming to the reporting again, you remember the customer satisfaction survey that we are doing and the results are shared at the beginning of the presentation. I will share the funniest comment that we got in that survey, because obviously we are not only asking, hey, are you happy or are you not happy with us? We are also asking, can we do something better? Is there something we are not happy with us? And that's just a summary about the top 10. I prefer old-style forum software. The Slack is somewhat unstructured. Well, I cannot tell that I'm disagreeing, but if we try to keep a structure in our in our thread and channels, it can be quite structured. And from my side, using also other collaboration software tools, I must say that I'm really enjoying Slack at the moment, especially the search engine. But yeah, let's cover that in a second. IGEL Community equal awesome. Okay, just 3 words and 1 mathematical sign resumes everything. Thanks, guys. I'm agreeing to 100%. That one goes to me, and I'm happy to take it over. Moderation, especially comments not within the topic of the channel, can be relaxed. No, I will never. I will keep it moderated, at least try. For the love of God, please stop using the @everyone announcement so frequently. Well, we did better. It's less than before, but I'm still using it from time to time. You are all awesome. When I grow up, I want to be just like IGEL. Carlo, I'm not knowing who you are, but I definitely love you. The last one is my favorite one. I don't know why, but I really like it. Give Seb a pay raise. Just a suggestion. I mean, it wasn't written by myself. So thank you to that anonymous suggestion. I'm definitely loving it. So coming back to our members' vision. I will try to play again the video. If not, I will skip it, and like I said, playing it at the end. Yeah, same here. So I will just go then directly to what happened. So I try to summarize a little bit about what happened in the last 5 years. From beginning on, we didn't have the IGELcommunity.com. The rec page was not there, so we couldn't really track how many people joined, in which time frame, from which country, from which vertical. So there is a web page around it, which is doing a form. The form is then redirect into a master sheet where every magic is happening for our reports. But the IGEL Community website is really the main entry for our registration form, and everything around is like our awards, our getting started guides, the links to the different sub pages that we have that I will cover in a second are there. I'm also sharing the latest blog articles on that web page. So I know that the blog articles will be covered in a second. I know that we are not where we were on the beginning of the year, but we are coming back on track, and that's the content that we are sharing on that website too. So that's really the main entry and main data gathering point for us. Coming to the content itself, we have the videos and archives.igelcommunity.com, which was created respectively 3 and 2 years ago, which are covering all the meetup, the recording of our meetup, the Tech Tip Tuesday videos, which is covering the technology partner meetups that we have. Yes, we upload everything to YouTube, no question. But at the same time, if you want to make it searchable, if you want to make it available for search engine, if you want to have a proper paging for that for that videos, you have to use your own CMS, and that's what you are doing there. Then the archive side, I already mentioned it at the beginning. If you're putting something together on the website, you have to get it from Slack. Slack is a black box for search engines, and that's a good thing from a data privacy reason, because you don't want to expose customer data to Google or to whatever search bot without checking the data. And that's where a tool is sitting in, where the archive is extracting data from Slack. I'm checking every data manually and checking if some data is in it, screenshots or whatever that we need to remove. And then we make it anonymized, available for search engines. So if you search for, I don't know, RDP certificate error 2105, and it's something which was part of the Slack communication, you might find then the original thread and be redirected to it without even having the need to being registered in prior. Then we have the GitHub side. A big kudo to Ron Neer on that case, because we just created the frame, but he put a lot of life and content to it. The custom partitions have built scripts, but also documentation, the private batch release notes is everything part of it. So I can give you a teaser. We'll definitely leverage that cooperation in the next months, but that's also part of the IGEL community about something which was launched 4 years ago. Then we have the blog articles where I'm trying to extract topics from the IGEL community into a blog article, or if someone is sharing an IGEL community, an IGEL OS or IGEL UMS documentation on LinkedIn, I'm asking the person, hey, would you be okay if I'm putting it on our blog site? The VIP program was also something that is not available outside of our IGEL world. The VIP program is on our side something really special, where we award people who went above and beyond, who used their seventh heart to help us. And I'm really proud to have this extremely core group of people helping us and being part of our IGEL community. But that's also something that was launched 3 years ago. Then the private build communication. We just published the 2212 private build a couple of minutes ago, should I say? Yeah, maybe 1 hour. So it's already there in the IGEL community. Obviously not the download link, but the information that private builds are available, and then going through the standard process for requesting it. Then having a team. I mean, we were two for about 2 years. Now we are catching up and getting our headcount again. But yeah, still, it was a teamwork, not only from 2 person or from 1 person, but from a huge team effort inside of the company. Then we had the meetups, which are also created more or less at the beginning of the pandemic, where the first one, if I remember right, was how to set up an ICG, because yeah, it was one topic which was extremely asked in the community, but also on our customer base, so we could then share the content with other people. The hardware compatibility list. Hey, you have a device in front of you, but it's not IGEL ready, but it's not a device from IGEL to Informa Times, but you want to test it, and you want to give that testing feedback back to others. Then you can use our IGEL and say, okay, you tested, I don't know which device, and it worked fine with that firmware version. Use the IGEL. It wasn't available before that. So you're getting started, guys, from zero to hero in terms of IGEL OS, IGEL Cloud Gateway, and also IGEL UMS installation is something that we'll redesign and rethink for IGEL OS 12. Early access programs to IGEL OS 12, to the Ayres 420 device from N Computing, to the UMS web app. All that stuff was created step by step in the last 5 years, and a lot more, obviously. And just in this year, and then I'm really coming an end to the presentation, and I will play the videos of the insiders and of the members in a couple of seconds. Just want to sum up a little bit about what happened in the year 2022. Obviously, Dark Left IGEL, all the best, but really I'm appreciating still to chat with you. And obviously we're missing you, but we're doing fine, hopefully, and I wish you all the best. But now we're also back in CX. So if you know us for a couple of months, years, you know that we came from CX. We had a small change for a couple of years, and now we are back in the customer experience team, and we are really delighted to do so because we are part of the support organization. We are part of advanced services and customer retention. So everything is working now extremely closely together, and I would say closely as never before. And that was a huge step. Because from the island we had before, coming back to a team, had also some changes in our mindset, but it went very well. And that gives a big shout out to Arfan, who cannot be there today, but thank you for having welcomed us to your team. It was really a warm welcome. Then our CSAT and NPS raised to 94 and 81. I mean, I would have never expected that, but we did, and we passed 9,000 members. I know it sounds lazy that we want to reach the 10K as soon as possible, but it's just a first step. Reaching that magic number is one huge step, but we are already looking at the next ones. We did a lot of work on making us visible, so sharing the IGEL community brand to the market by sharing stickers. I know it sounds easy, but it takes some time to get the stickers approved, to get them printed, to get them shipped to all the people. Same for brochures, having the Google campaign starting, the LinkedIn campaign starting, the mailing starting, etc. All that stuff needed some time, but in, I would say, approximately 3 months, we achieved really a kind of magic moment. IGEL user groups are already in the queue, so if you are not aware of it, we are planning to create our own IGEL user groups powered by IGEL Community brand in the next months. So we will start in Disrupt in Munich and then Disrupt in Nashville by having a Disrupt in front of the Disrupt, and we'll meet all together, share tech content, go tech deep dive, but also have fun together, not only telling, but we will really want to exchange ideas, get market feedback for us, see how we perform with OS 12 and UMS 12, what we can do better, getting your thoughts, and yeah, basically having the same conversation like we had in the IGEL community for years now, in person, in your city, nearby you. New collaboration at IGEL is more kind of internal stuff, but yeah, we are working closely together with new departments. And even if you might not haven't seen it, but the licensing team is now part of the IGEL community. IGEL Ready is part of the IGEL community and sharing ideas, and new their licensing team is answering questions in the licensing section. So yay, it's getting better and better from day to day, and we are definitely not done yet. Slowing me down. You might have noticed that I'm not reactive as I was before, not because I was mobile than before a little bit, yes, but I'm also trying to give others the chance to answer, to have others a chance to share their ideas on a specific topic. And I'm just putting reminders on my Slack and saying, hey, let me check that again in 1 or 2 or 3 hours and check if someone answered, and if not, I'm jumping in again. Just because, yeah, I was there as a team of the IGEL community now. We want to make the IGEL community team not only a one-person team, but a huge team. And that's the reason why we should definitely involve everyone and give them the chance to answer. And all web services moved, just a small one, but yeah, IGELcommunity.com, the video website, the archive site, the content management system, and all the APIs move now to IGEL. So we are definitely back on track on that. I promised Doug, and I guess it was also to Jet 1.5 years ago, that yes, I will subscribe to LinkedIn, and yes, I will create an account. And even if I always try to avoid everything with everyone's social and so on, I started to register last year, and I'm posting, yeah, not everything, but I'm trying to post as much as possible on the different channels, and everyone's social is now also in my hand. So the IGEL community group, but also the IGEL community group instead of everyone's social, is making something, yeah, making us more visible. And I'm trying to leverage also that level to the next point. Meetups are back, just a small one, but I know that we were a little bit late at the beginning of the year, and we didn't have the meetups as we had before, 1 time a month, sometimes also more. Now I can say since September, we have at least 1 per month, but usually it's more 2 to 3 per month. And we will definitely keep that pace for the year 2023. We already have the next events planned for January and February. Last one, I mentioned it in the last meetup that we had with Jet, Matthias, and Irfan last week. The wallpaper contest is just one additional commitment that IGEL gave to us and to the IGEL community. We'll have our product IGEL OS 12 launched at the beginning of the year 2023. So for those of you who are not knowing it, it's the next biggest iteration of our operating system, but also our universal management suite management system. And we're delighted to say that we have a wallpaper contest started, and you can submit your own wallpaper creation to our website, and we will vote which wallpaper will be then integrated into the IGEL operating system 12 as an IGEL community wallpaper. So if you didn't saw it until now, we have an announcement in the IGEL community announcement, but we will also share that one as soon as we have the legal stuff set up in the announcement, in the community chat. So please prepare your own wallpapers already now, because we will start at the 16th of January, if I remember right, to allow the submissions. What's next? And that's my last slide, my vision for 2023. I will not call it a vision, it's just a few thoughts. Some of you have already noted that I put some automation in the Slack client by importing some JSON files in the last days. I just make it maybe a little bit easier to understand. We have sometimes questions, and we have sometimes also posts where we have to ask, hey, which IGEL OS, which IGEL UMS, which ICG version? Did you already try that? Should we create a ticket? But for the moment, we never had the chance to make reports out of it. We had to copy and paste the content from other threads. I'm trying to automate a little bit the steps. Stay tuned. I will record a video on that and share it on the next meetup. Leverage the GitHub cooperation. As mentioned, we have already a huge cooperation, but I will definitely push that to the next level. I want to bring some technology partners back, but also create new topics for the IGEL community by involving also in Privata, like an example. Then we are getting a lot of questions, and I'm sure we could help a lot of people by involving them a little bit more, but also having a better cooperation. Beta program, something which is extremely important to me. I'm not saying that we have already a concept, but I have an idea. We have different early access programs running at the moment, and these early access programs are usually in Ireland, and we are starting the same process again as soon as this next early access program is starting. Why not having a beta program where you can subscribe and take whatever you need from that one? And share your ideas, share your thoughts about a new product, a new introduction of, I don't know, a new function of IGEL OS. So the beta program is something you should definitely look at in the next weeks. And even already mentioned the IGEL user groups, which are already in plan, but will be extremely regular in the next time. Feedback loop into the company, share the IGEL community into different departments is an ongoing process, but still part of what I'm doing for 2023. And yes, we will still award our VIPs and insiders, as mentioned, Munich, Nashville, but there was some surprises. I'm not sure if you can, as soon as I will stop the sharing of the PowerPoint, look behind me, but there was a big box. And this box is holding something for our IGEL community VIPs, something which should make you hopefully happy. Then bring the Tech Tip Tuesday videos and all the tutorials that I'm recording back on track. As soon as we got some spare time, I will catch up and take over all the open topics and obviously have fun. I will stop sharing the screen. It's just for the time where I'm preparing the videos that the insiders recorded. Any question, guys? Any ideas, thought that you would like to share with the audience in the meantime? Christian, you joined. Something new on your side?
I am the only Christian here. So you're
Sure.
talking with me. Okay, that's
yeah.
fine. So definitely. So I'm glad to be here, and also maybe worth to share the experience I have with the community.
Please.
So maybe the best and maybe also the first real experience from my end in regards of cooperation with the IGEL community members was the one and unfortunately only IGEL community live event in Amsterdam. I guess it was back in 2019, right?
Correct. Absolutely right.
Yeah, and this was really great. And I remember also that I started my presentation with the general question, what do you like most on IGEL OS and what do you like, what do you dislike? And I guess we've discussed definitely 30 minutes with the whole audience. So general findings. So at the good side, we are offering a lot of useful implementations on IGEL OS. So of course, with a proper configuration for a nice and easy management, so very useful, but also on the bad side. And there was one statement I am constantly thinking about that, and this was about IGEL OS and its user experience. So some things on IGEL OS are definitely not too easy to use and configure. One example here is definitely the Wi-Fi manager. So even worse, in my opinion, is the display switch tool. So a lot of functions, but it's not usable at all. So also Bluetooth, etc., is also quite tricky to configure. And this was one point I've mentioned, as mentioned, always remembered. And now with IGEL OS 12, as this is a complete new system, we have the chance now to do some rework. And for that reason, the feedback from 2019 goes now into IGEL OS 12. And we are going to offer with the new series, new tray apps. So with GA for the UMS connection and battery overview config, also some power management settings, quite easy to use and configure. And next to come after GA is definitely networks, also set up a Wi-Fi in a nice and convenient way. So finally, also that will be covered, and also some new tools, some new tools are in the pipeline for audio. Also, the display switch will be completely reworked. Also, the Bluetooth connection and configuration.
Christian, I love this statement, because I don't know how long we were fighting with the topics.
Oh, yes.
Big thank you to you, to PM, and to the dev people who are working on that. Honestly, thank you. That's a great gift.
You're welcome, of course, as we are using IGEL OS by ourselves. It's also good for us, of course. And all of the new stuff will come also in the new HTML5 based modern design. So it's definitely fun to use then. And basically all new elements as the notification system and the mentioned tray apps will be based on HTML5. So we are going into the new world here. And overall, also in that topic, the community is just great to share insights about our plannings, also to introduce new features and get your feedback. And also, I really like it to use. I really like to use it to promote our new IGEL OS 11 releases at the moment. So I'm always happy to get a chance and opportunity to share the details about IGEL OS. And yeah, as mentioned, always great to be part of that very nice and great community.
Thanks, Christian. Thank you
very,
very much for that warm words.
Thanks a lot, man.
I have to thank you. Let me share just for a second then the VLC player, and I will just play it there. So let me just double check that the sound is there. Give me just a second, please. Share sound, and let me share the screen again. Could someone please just confirm that the sound is working as soon as I hit play? So right now. Hold on.
Hi, IGEL community.
Yes.
This is Milan P from Canada, wishing the IGEL community a very happy 5th anniversary, hoping for many, many more, because the IGEL community is a wonderful place to be. So I started my journey into the IGEL community in early 2020. I believe I was searching for IGEL documentation and came across the IGEL Community Quick Start Guide. I found it to be a fantastic resource. And so I thought that maybe the IGEL community had many, many more of these types of offerings. And since joining, I certainly have found that to be true. The reason I stayed with the community is mainly for the technical aspects, the discussions around what can be done and how to do things, perhaps not in a way that's documented elsewhere. I've stayed to understand the types of problems that other users have, and to find out what kind of solutions they're using in real world situations. I want to stay up to date on all things IGEL, including firmwares and different types of tech talks that are happening. And lastly, it's a very good public forum or semi-public forum to discuss any sorts of concerns or problems that you might be having about the product, and a good way to provide that sort of feedback. What kind of message would I give to other users is go ahead and post and ask questions and discuss. There's lots of members willing to provide their perspective on how they solve solutions, or if they've come across the same sorts of issues and solve those issues. I would say if you do get a good response though, go ahead and give some feedback, whether that solution ended up working for you or not. I think a lot of the members would appreciate that. And once again, happy 5th anniversary, IGEL community.
Thank you, Milan. Like I said, I can already say that you shared so much with that I couldn't thank you enough in that meetup. But yeah, thanks again for sharing your thoughts. And yes, I agree to 100%. So coming back to our audience, we had Christian telling us about the IGEL community, but now I would like to hand it over to the early adopter, Frederick Bradsteak. How are you doing?
Yes, Sebastian. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. It's very nice to listen into all the stuff that happened during the last 5 years. So basically, the story for me, I was, as you say, an early adopter. I was convinced by Doug that this was a good platform going forward. I just started to know Doug actually from, I mean, meeting him the first time, I think it was at Citrix Summit, Jed, when you presented Doug and that he was going to join us. For me, Doug has always been one of the heroes with DA/BCC and all the possibilities to, I mean, finding information, and I mean, Doug has always been about information sharing and community services. So I easily jumped on this, and honestly, I hadn't been very active in Slack, so it was quite new tool for me. But I immediately fell in love because in my past lives, I have been an IRC user. So internet relation for all of us that has been living for a long time with computers and whatever. And I mean, Slack looks and feels like IRC, and I believe it's an evolution actually. So, I mean, started up joining in and seeing all the questions coming in. It was a challenge for us to reach customers and communities and partners of ours and actually interact. And this was a very good start of a journey to be able for us to reach people and for people to reach us, which is more important. Since then, I think I did a few posts. I'm still active on Slack, definitely. I couldn't say that I'm there on a daily basis, but I follow all my old threads. And if you want to reach out to me and have questions, just hit me on Slack.
Lovely. Yeah, Fred, I'm still thinking on your thread, and I mean, you have definitely, I would not call it a specialization, but yeah, we can call it this way, for AVD and Citrix. You are definitely one of our most skilled person in that area, and I'm truly appreciating that you are jumping in and answering questions. And I must say, your co-work with Jürgen Schneider from Dev and with Microsoft on the AVD integration is amazing. So just
Thanks.
Giving
there
you
is a lot of stuff happening that you will soon get your hands on. So all of them.
Cool.
Everybody else. So it's constant development, but we are closing in to something that is really, really useful.
So you are saying Citrix is dead, right?
Certainly not. I have, since I started with EUC stuff in my work career, I've always put Citrix in the first spot. I would say Citrix is now in combination with a few others on the first spot, but I certainly think that Citrix has a valid reason for this market. But the AVD stuff and Windows 365 is coming, and it's coming hard, and I know that Microsoft has a good intention with their products too. So it will be interesting to see where it all goes, but I think the value add that Citrix and also VMware gives on top of AVD and Windows 365 nowadays with HCX Plus and whatever it's called from VMware, it's a good add-on because they already have all the features and very special spearhead things that Microsoft hasn't cashed up with yet. Super interesting to see where it goes.
I would definitely love to have you on the meetup on that. I mean, I know that you cannot share too much at the moment, but if we could have a meetup at the beginning of the year 2023 to cover that, as you already did last year for us, I would definitely be happy about that.
Yeah, of course, we'll be happy to. It's always difficult to. I'm getting influences from the MVP side with the distribution list and the program, the Microsoft MVP side, and I'm getting influences and information from our collaboration with Microsoft, it's always a bit hard to distinguish what can I actually talk about.
I believe so.
Yeah, I usually keep it straight. So
will you get shot if you are telling something secret?
I think I will
family?
not, but I might be bankrupt.
Okay, fair enough. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fred.
That's fine. No, I'm happy to do so, Seb, of course.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. So let me share the next video. I will share the screen again together with the sound. So let me check if that one is working. Just a small confirmation would help. No, there is no sound apparently, or at least it's not coming to my ears. Okay,
no sound.
No sound? Yeah, that's same on my side. So I'm expecting that the video is broken. So let me jump to the next one. It's easier. So here we go. And let me share that one. I mean, it can be that I'm working on the video.
Hello, IGEL community, and happy birthday. My name is Zach Scholler, and I have been in the community for 5 or 6 years. I don't quite remember, my registration got changed and everything got reset. I don't quite remember the true start date. But I joined because we had an outage on a go live day. So didn't know what to do, no idea. We had an issue with our IGEL deployment and I needed help right then. It was about 11:30 p.m., midnight almost, I think. And we didn't have support at the time. So we were kind of, you know, up the creek without a paddle, if you will. So joined up to the IGEL community, started asking questions. Over the course of that evening, I was given some ideas and things to try. And by the end of that evening, we had our issue fixed. And if you're curious, it was laptops and how to disable the laptop screen when it's connected to a secondary monitor. That was not nearly as easy as it used to be. So the IGEL community helped me out in a big pinch there. Our Go Live was able to continue. So saved some skin off my back, as it were. I stayed because I really, really enjoyed the camaraderie. I enjoyed talking with the people that I interacted with there. I really enjoyed going through and reading what kind of issues other people were having and what kind of help they were getting. Sometimes I'd file those away as a just in case we had that issue, building our own little personal knowledge base, almost. So I stay around because I just enjoy the act of helping others, and that's what we're here for. That's what we're all in here for. Anytime you come in here and ask a question, I have yet to see a single question in this community in the time that I've been here go unanswered, or that person didn't have some sort of actionable item that they could move on, even if it's you need to call support for this issue because it's a little too advanced for the community. Speaking of that, it's a little surprising how often issues are not too advanced for the community. I have seen some things that the community solves that were incredibly complex. Some really heavily scripted things. Yeah, there's just so much. It's worth just spending some time and going back through, like find your favorite channel, find the area of interest, and just start going through what's there. You're going to find something that will help you, and you're going to learn something. And that's what we should all be striving to do in this business, is to continually learn. You stay stagnant, and it makes the job not so interesting, in my opinion. So my funniest moment in the IC would probably be whenever the insiders group got built, or the VIP group got built, and the chat got flooded with GIFs, and it made a few people a little upset. We actually had a few people leave. We reached out and they came back, but it was an overflow of memes. So that was my favorite. So personal message to everybody out there: come see how we can help you. Come join this community, this group of like-minded individuals. We're all here with the same interest. That's to help each other and to work with IGEL. Thanks.
Thank you, Zach, for taking the time for recording this. So let me just stop sharing and go back to our attendees, because until now we had different people speaking, but René didn't have the chance to give his view on the IGEL community. So you were also there from the beginning on. René, how you are feeling on the IGEL community side?
Yeah, thank you for having me here today. Great to see everyone here. So I remember when I met Brown first time, I think kickoff 2017, he talked about network and maybe also the first ideas of the community. And we stayed in contact, and I can remember that we had in Augsburg a pre-sales meeting back in the days. So Frederick was attending, you were attending, really small room, was really epic, the whole meeting. And then he presented the first time, what he called the project IGEL Software or IGEL Software Project, what now became the IGEL community over the years. I think this shows also the development of IGEL within all the years. I think when we look 5 years back where we were as a company, but also the persons, Frederick were in totally different position, you were in totally different position. So I think in the last 5 years, everyone grew with IGEL. We saw this in the community growing. And I can remember, Sebastian, I don't know if I can share the story, but first time we talked about the community, and back in 2017, you were very skeptic about, okay, can this work for IGEL? Maybe, let's do this. I'm totally in, but I'm a little bit skeptic, and now seeing you as a top contributor at the face of the community is really, really amazing. So who knows me, I'm really like to enable people to bring together people, and really proud what we achieved here with the community. I'm really proud what you became, which role you took over here in the community, and I want to say thank you for everyone writing in the community on a daily basis, being part of it, being active, and showing the IGEL love into all the world. So yeah, this is what I can say, and I'm really happy that I was there 5 years ago, and that I'm still here, and hopefully be there a long time in the future to be part of this success story. So amazing.
I can even share one small insight. I mean, for everyone who knows Doug, how should I phrase it? He's talking quite long sentence, and a small discussion can take sometimes hours. And if he's presenting something and he is motivated about the topic, it can last very long, a very long time.
So I have to tell you a story about Doug Brown when
Please.
we were building this. That's one of my favorite stories.
Please.
We used to meet up and we would well, there's two stories, but it's in the same night. I'm sure many of you have gone out and had a night with Doug Brown, which can always result in a lot of stories from Doug Brown. He loves to tell stories, and he has quite a carousel of stories. And so I don't know if any of you know Nicole Simon. She's my chief of staff, very sweet woman who has worked with me at 4 different companies. And she was sitting there mesmerized by one story after another from Doug, and said she finally stopped him and said, Doug, I will give you 100 euros if you can not say a word for the next 30 minutes. And it was all Doug could do to not say anything for the next 30 minutes and collect that 100 euros. So it was to your point. And so that night we went from there to a dinner party where we all had dinner, and those of you also know that Doug likes to be other than to go to tell stories, he would go outside to take a secret smoke. And so we were in this tiny little room in the Infinity Hotel where he was also had taken up when he was on the road drinking Sambuca. And those of you who have ever had a Sambuca night with Doug know what I'm talking about. And so he would get up about every 15 minutes to go take a smoke. Well, we would refill all of the shot glasses with water except for Doug's with Sambuca. And so about 12 shots in, Doug stumbles back to his room and he's wondering why everyone else is feeling just fine. And so
That explains so much.
we did not see Doug until the next morning, until about one in the afternoon the next day. He stumbled in to the meeting, and he got in a little bit of trouble with his boss at that time, Simon Richards. But and I had to take the fall for him. But it was quite a night. He got me back at his wedding years later with Fernet and his new father-in-law, who spoke no English, could drink a lot of Fernet.
And honestly, I can't remember Fernet Branca. I mean, I do like shots, but Fernet Branca is definitely something you have to be used to like it.
Yes, it's a very special acquired taste. In San Francisco, I worked as a bartender going through college, and actually San Francisco is the city that consumes the most Fernet Branca in the world. It's like a handshake for anyone in the hospitality business. So I somehow have a stomach for this stuff as a 20-year-old drinking it in San Francisco. Anyway, there's my Doug Brown story. I hope you enjoy it.
Definitely. I was not aware of that part of the story.
Next time you see Doug, you can ask him if he can keep his mouth shut for 100 euros. Sure, he will laugh.
Yeah, and I'm sure he will not be able to do so. Yeah, we met the first time. I mean, what René just mentioned, it's definitely also the first time when I met Doug, and it was the pre-sales meeting in Augsburg, and it was the last session of the day. It was the last session between him and the beer, and he was presenting the Getting Started guide, and it should have taken 30 minutes, and after 1 hour, I was just asking, is it just marketing, or can we just maybe close the discussion and drink the beer? And that was the first time I met him, and I'm not sure if it just broke the ice, but that was the first time. And yeah, I really enjoyed the cooperation. I'm wishing him all the best in his new role. Coming back to the community, I would like to share the next video with you. And David, I must say that I just double-checked the video, and apparently the audio is not there. So I will take the time during the next video to check the Dropbox link. Give me just a second, and I will do so. So coming back to the video, let me share the next one. Here we go, and let me share the screen. By the way, we have approximately 11 minutes left before the end of the session. So if someone is having something to share with the audience and would like to move from the attendee to the panelist, just give me a chat message and we'll be happy to promote you to a panelist if you have a funny story to tell about the IGEL community. I didn't have the chance to record a movie. So here we go on the screen. So you should get the next video in full screen mode, and I'm checking the David.
Hey everybody, my name's Stu Donaldson. Happy 5th birthday, IGEL community. I've been
I'm back. I hope everyone just checked that I was not there anymore. Give me a second. I will just share the screen again, and here we go. Share sound, optimize for video clip, and the screen number 1. And you should see the screen loading in a second. Here we go. And let's start the video.
Hey everybody, my name's Stu Donaldson. Happy 5th birthday to the IGEL community. I've been a member of the IGEL community since the very beginning. God, it's been a while. Can't really believe it's been that long. I also can't believe how much we've grown. I think we're over 9,000 active users last time I looked. I initially joined the IGEL community back in my consulting days because I figured, hey, we're partners with IGEL. I'll see what I can do to help and check out this community thing they were building. But I got to tell you, I've gotten a lot more out of it than I bargained for. It's fantastic resource, yes, for sharing knowledge, learning from colleagues, all that kind of fun stuff. Getting the inside scoop on what IGEL's doing. But the most important thing that I think I've gotten out of it has been, the amazing relationships I've developed, lifelong friends. You know, it's become a place to hang out. It's become a place to go and you know, blow off some steam, have some laughs, and be part of you know, an extended family. And it's made up of some of the brightest minds out there in the EUC industry. So IGEL asked me to share, you know, the funniest moment that I can remember of the IGEL community, and I kind of laughed when I realized that, you know, my favorite moments here have been, you know, things like crowning our, you know, famous David Fainer, Pittsburgh Mercy show pony, and that makes absolutely no sense to anyone except for those of us that are you know, here and were around for that. But I mean, I think it speaks to you know, the kind of relationships we've developed, and you know, the fact that it's only the regulars that really, you know, understand some of the best stuff that's going on. Anyway, before I go, just want to say thanks to all the IGEL employees out there, like Seb and Ron, and God, I'm gonna forget everybody, so I'm just not gonna try. But you guys have been awesome. You know, they share just some fantastic knowledge, and also want to say hi to all my friends out there in the IGEL community. You know, we've really built something here to be proud of, and you know, it's something that you know, has really shaped, you know, what I see is what I want to do for the rest of my career. You know, it helped me figure out that the community aspect of what we do as engineers in IT has, you know, been the most fulfilling kind of part of you know, my career for the last couple of years. So I'll be here, and I hope that if you aren't a member yet, you should sign up and come give it a try, come hang out, and I think you'll really like what you see. Bye.
Thank you, Stu. Let me close the video on my side, and I will just take the last moments to share with you a small, it's more teaser about what I tried to do on the Slack side, because I mentioned it, because just one small part about what you might expect in the year 2023. So just checking in specific channels, you might have seen that a question is showing up, and we want to ask, hey, which IGEL OS version are you using? Which IGEL UMS version, etc. So in that case, if we go into a specific region of a question, and I'm just taking that one because it's easier to read, if you now add a specific reaction to it, like the double question mark, it will automatically fill out with a direct message to the person. If we need a ticket, that makes the life easier for me to make reports out of it, how many questions couldn't get answered in the IGEL community, but needed to be redirected to a ticket. And it would also have our ticketing system and our support colleagues to understand, hey, where is the correlation between the IGEL community and the ticketing opening? Or in that case, if we stay in the IGEL OS, just another point, if I add a question mark, if I'm right, yes, it will automatically ask the correct questions, and we need additional information on the firmware version, etc. If you think about the private builds, as you might know, we are not delivering the private builds directly, since we don't want to do so, and we're not partially allowed to do so. You have to ask for it and write an email to igelcommunity.com, at igel.com, sorry. And I will then handle out the download link. I will create a workflow where you can just jump in and requesting the private build directly from Slack, check the option and which firmware version you want to address, click a submit button, and from that point, it will take over the task automatically, and I will just have to approve or to revoke that specific topic. In addition to that, we might also add other features like requesting, I'm not sure how to call it, if it's a service, so adding services. If in the near future we could maybe also sell our services via that platform, to ask, hey, if there's an opportunity open for pre-sales or for advanced services, would it be maybe make sense to create a form directly from the IGEL community to the corresponding departments? I'm working on that behind the scenes, so to say, but just saying there are also inside of Slack some improvement that you might expect in the near future. We have 4 minutes left. Some closing words maybe from you, Jet, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Well, I guess I just want to say the one thing I heard that makes me the happiest, right, is that the biggest joy that people get out of life is helping other people, right? And that's what community is about, lifting each other up. And that, especially at this time of year, as we're approaching the holidays, right, we are reminded of this. So yeah, it's not about your title or how much things you have. It's about how you can help others. And I think those that you had the video testimonials, that's the part that struck me. So hopefully we can continue to offer a place where that can occur. The other thing I wanted to share with you is obviously that we invite you all to disrupt. This crazy idea that we had 5 years ago to do a user conference that was a conversation about how we could drive the industry forward. Again, not so much about an IGEL commercial, but about a place where like-minded people who are trying to solve a problem of complexity and cost and connectivity to deliver this technology could get together. And so we're taking another big leap this year to host this at a moment where I think the world really needs it. There isn't an end user compute event of size that's left anymore. And so we're able to convince our board in a moment where everyone's a little uncertain that we should do this, and that it's worth the millions of dollars that it costs to put on events like this. So one thing I wanted to share with everybody is, if you go to igel.com, or go to disrupt EUC.com, and if you put in the IGEL community code, you'll get a discount off the already discounted 199 euros that will expire in 10 days. So you'll get, I think, an additional 20 euros off. Yeah. So the best price that you're ever going to see for this event. And as you can imagine, it's a very generous event, both in Munich and so go to disrupt EUC. I'll put it in the chat, and then just in the discount code box that comes up when you register, type in IGEL Community, and you'll get the best price that anyone's getting to attend this event. So yeah, I hope to see a lot of you there, and I know Seb's planning some nice surprises and some great recognition for a lot of you that are have participated so much throughout the year. So yeah, I think Slack is great, but human being interaction is even greater. So join us there, and hopefully I can give you all a big hug, and you'll get a lot out of it. We've got all the major players showing up.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Just in case, I put the Eventbrite link into the chat, so you can directly click on the link and get the discount applied. We just checked the video from, thank you very much, from David. So let me share for the closing word the video of David Prowse, because we didn't have the chance to watch it until now. So let me share a last time my screen before wishing everyone a nice Christmas and New Year's Eve period. And let me share the screen number 1. And would be great if someone could please confirm that as soon as the screen has loaded, you will get some.
IGEL Community.
It's working.
It's crazy how fast the 5 years have gone. I joined in February of 2018, so not quite 5 years ago, but pretty close. I came as a prospective customer. I had a UD Pocket in hand, and I was trying to get rid of Windows in our environment on our thin clients, and I needed a Linux-based thin client that I could make work with the stuff that we needed to work with, and it did. There were just some few things that I had questions on, and I had been part of the Citrix community and VMware community over the years, and so I searched for a community when I had questions, and I found the answers that I needed. So that got me started, and being a proponent of community, that's why I stayed around. I like sharing what I know with others and learning from others that, their stories. Everybody has a story. Everybody has similar issues, and sharing those issues is what community is all about. I built some great friendships over the years with, Stuart Donaldson and Barry Brown and David Feiner and several other people that I can't think of off the top of my mind. And as soon as I get done with this, I'll be like, I didn't name so-and-so. Please don't be offended if I didn't name your name. But there's a lot. And that's from just coming and hanging out with the IGEL community. That's a big recommendation I would have to you, or, to share with you is, just come out, just come hang out and get to know people. And, if you have something to share it. That's how you build community. If somebody asks a question and you know it, answer it. It's not rocket science, but you don't have to be an expert to do it, but something that is going to help others, so, share it. And if you have questions, ask it, and others will share what they know and help you out. So that's definitely my recommendation. That's why I stay. I'm just a huge proponent of community. So just want to share a funny moment. There's been so many over the last 5 years that have happened, and some of the calls that we've had, and just some of the chit chats and direct messages and stuff that we've had. There's just been so many, and David Feiner being called the show pony this past year for Disrupt, and it's just really funny, and you probably had to be part of the conversation to understand why that's funny, but it's hilarious. But it's still not the funniest moment that I've had in the IGEL community. The funniest moment I had was back in 2020 at the Nashville Disrupt. Devin Tilley and I, one of my co-workers and fellow IGEL community members and insider, we were at the Disrupt, and we were going to find Doug Brown in one of the bars one evening. And yes, that's of course where everybody finds Doug Brown. If you're at an event, go to the bar. Anyways, I was introducing Devin to Doug, and Doug's like, "Wow, Devin, you have great skin." And we just kind of like, okay. It kind of caught us off guard, but it's hilarious, and Doug Brown reminded me of that today when we were talking about something. Devin and I had a laugh about it afterwards, and so did a couple other people. It's just something you don't hear, right? But it's funny. At least it is to me. Funniest moment. So anyways, happy 5th birthday, IGEL community. I hope it's the beginning of many, many years to come, and it only continues to get better. See you later. Happy 5th.
Thanks, David. So coming to an end, I would like to share every panelist, every attendee for taking the time to celebrate with us. I mean, usually we would have met in person in Bremen and have some drinks, but due to some issues on traveling and some healthy stuff, we had to postpone it to Disrupt. So I will be happy to spend some drinks out in the time where we'll meet in Nashville and in Munich and celebrate it in person together with you guys. Thanks, Frederick, Jet, René, Christian, for having been there as a panelist and sharing your thoughts, your vision, your memories about the IGEL community in the last 5 years. I'm really looking forward to the next 5, 10, or 15 years on that topic. And I wish you all a great Christmas and New Year's Eve time, and see you hopefully healthy next year together with all the other attendees on the Disrupt events.
Thanks a lot. Pleasure was on my side. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Sam.
Christian. Bye-bye.
Bye.